I have to stop doing that. I heard myself do it when I listened to the video last night. I do it again tonight. I apologize for that. I'll make a note. Today is Wednesday, August 2nd, 2017. And even though, and I want to tell you now, even though the first song I'm going to play is going to be kind of mellow, do not let that lull you into thinking that this video is going to be a mellow one. 8 o'clock on the dot. Call them out. Share the video. But I wanted to play this song because I like it. I think we all should like it. You all know it? You all remember it?
Just to feel nice, didn't need no paradise. Now open your eyes, look around, smoke in the city, and what was pretty, crying out for sympathy. So bring back the old time days, bring back them old time ways. I know everything was changed, but I still love the old time days. Used to be everyone cared for each other, lived like brothers, respected one another. In times gone by we used to share, together we make do. And if I draw a susu, what was mine was yours too. I know them days done past and gone, and I know that life must carry on. But if I must join in with the pack, then I'm going back. I'm going back, yeah, yeah, back to the old time. Back to them old time ways. I know everything was changed, but I still love the old time days. Yes, bring back the old time days. Bring back them old time ways. I know everything must change, but I still love the old time days.
You feel it?
Bring it back, bring it back.
You feel it?
Bring it back.
Nappy Myers. I'll share the video link in the thread so you have it. Especially the foreign-based Trinis. I apologize for that song, because I know they're going to hit you in the feels. But I grew up in a Trinidad and Tobago that our children not growing up in today. And we have a responsibility to fix it. We have a responsibility to fix our country. And tonight's video is called Fixing Camelot. I compare Trinidad to Camelot a lot, because the ideals of Camelot, the round table, was people, no hierarchy. Nobody wanted to be king. They had a king. But nobody wanted to be king, and they wanted everybody to have say, to be able to express themselves and share a vision for what was best for their place, Camelot. And if you could see into some of our groups, the executive, the steering committee, the advisory council, we're setting up a legislative council right now. If you see in some of those groups how hard these people work at fixing Trinidad and Tobago, and none of them running down position. None of them running down. It's the whole mood. We're doing this for Trinidad. We're doing this for Trinidad. People still don't understand. This morning I sat down at breakfast at Diane's tea shop on Long Circular Road. No, this is not a plug, but I like Eggs Benedict, and there are a few places in Trinidad that could do a good Eggs Benedict. And Diane's tea shop, brilliant. And anyway, I sat there this morning and got into a conversation with two women that I respect, and both of them were trying to explain to me that I have a role and that I should step into that role. I had a conversation with somebody in the gym tonight, and people don't understand. I don't know how to get people to understand again. If I were to do this to benefit from it, I'd pervert it. You see, the other side, the PNM and the UNC, they need to label us. They need to dirty us because they're dirty. So the only way to get us down to their level to beat us, and they were saying, what is? I can't remember that, damn it. But it's never fight with literally somebody, a dirty person. They will drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. And the PNM and the UNC have a lot of experience in that. So we needed to literally sacrifice. We needed to sacrifice. We need to be able to say, we will do everything that it takes to get government, and we who doing the work, we will cut track for somebody else. We will make sure that we find the right person to be our leaders, our leader, and the right people to be on our round table. We actually want a cabinet that sits. We want, what we propose, 41 semi-autonomous constituencies. It gives them a cabinet. Diego Martin West will have a cabinet. San Fernando East will have a cabinet. Tobago West will have a cabinet. That cabinet is your board of supervisors. I don't want to get distracted. And our cabinet gets to be smaller. And that cabinet gets to focus on. But anyway, the PNM and the UNC. PNM want to call us UNC. UNC want to call us PNM. And you see the trolls on the walls all the time. They have nothing else to say. They can't take you. They can't stand up to you. It's like Samson Nanton. Samson Nanton. Oh gosh. So a very dear friend this morning, she WhatsApped me and she said, why you railing up on Samson? Nobody will take him on professionally. Nobody will take him on personally. You're giving the man more mileage than he deserves. It's not that. It's just that, senior journalist, somebody who I respect, she called me. She said, I hear you say that the media have a blackout on you and that the media not covering Philip Edward Alexander and not covering PEP, and I thought that was just political rhetoric. But when the head of news or the head of digital content of a media house personally attacks the de facto leader of a political organization, they're saying that they have no respect for you, they have no respect for your party, and it's personal. And he made the point, and he proved you correct, that the traditional media is fighting the PEP. So it's Samson Anton called me P-Brain. Yes, Samson, my first three initials spell P-E-A-P. Maybe when you graduate into long pants, you will find a better quality of joke. I don't know. You attack me ad hominem personally to attack my name. Brother, my three names, Philip Edward Alexander, my middle name is my father's name. If you knew your father's name, your name could have spelled something too. And? But anyway, The PNM want to be able to say we is UNC, and the UNC want to be able to say we is PNM, and they're failing at that. Because the Progressive Empowerment Party has established in 7 short months a strong individual identity that not even the Congress of the People was ever able to do. National Alliance for Reconstruction founders are telling me that what y'all are doing, and it's not me. I do a show at night and I want to credit social media. But it is the party. We have lions and lionesses in this party. And they're not led by a sheep. We have wolves. Our party is not made up of the timid. They step into this, seeing what I go through, knowing, and they clamoring. Put us out there. Let us deal with it. The Progressive Empowerment Party cannot be called PNM, and it cannot be called UNC. So they want to dirty us. They want to smear us. They want to say them in there for office. Them going and do what all the rest of them do when they get in there. They're going and thief. First of all, if what we wanted is to thief, we would have joined the PNM or the UNC, because those are thief parties. That's what they do. Their whole function is to get into power and steal. So if we wanted to steal, I mean, we have some skill sets that the PNM and the UNC would have welcomed, and we would have given our chance. We would have given our chance. We would have given our chance. We're not in this for that. Them only want power. No. None of us want power. None of us want position. I don't want to sit in the parliament and argue with those jokers. I don't. You ever watch the Parliament channel and listen to what passes for debate in this country on issues? You ever listen to it? If you have some time to waste, listen to the Parliament channel, and you will realize, watching that, why all 41 of them have to go. Because not one of them in that parliament is a decent individual. Not one. Not one of them has the integrity or the ethics that they sworn to have on their holy book. Because somebody would have stood up by now and said, this is wrong. I have doctors that send me message, say, Philip, I'm ready to go against my oath right now to stand with the PEP. There are people working in Central Bank. I tell them, hold on. Because they've sworn to a certain amount of confidentiality and they could get charged. It's easier to charge middle management in this country, but to protect the bandit clan. But wait, all that we're going to fix, we're going to fix Camelot. We're going to fix it. But they don't have one person in that parliament that could stand up and say, Camelot, you know what, you led us astray. Not one person in the PNM could say, Keith Rowley, my name, my family name, what I stand for, why I got into politics, is not to make nobody rich with a rip-off on the port. It's not to facilitate it's not to facilitate TSTT buying a failed Massey Communications company. What went on with Massey is criminal conspiracy. It is use of public office to raid the treasury, and people should be in jail tonight for that. And we need to put into office and into that parliament 41 people of character, integrity, ethics, morals. People who care about what their mother and father think about them. That's who you need. That's who you need. People who care what their parents, what their neighbors think, what the children think. People who care about that. People ask me, why does England, United Kingdom work and Trinidad doesn't? They don't even have a constitution. Because they have convention. That is a land, it is a place, and Europe is a place where your name and your reputation matters. There are a lot of people in Trinidad like that, And that's why the president said he can't find people. The president said he can't find people to join the Judicial and Legal Service Commission. It's not for a lack of people. It's a lack of people interested. They don't want to come and be a part of that. When you look at the PNM now, it is a complete bandit clan. Keith Rowley is leading a bandit squad. You heard what Terence D'Alsing said. Terence D'Alsing said that he can license medical marijuana. In a week, that they just burned down marijuana fields again in Trinidad. So the companies that he used to work for, because he was a pharmaceutical rep, and the companies that he used to work for know that medical marijuana is a multi-million-dollar worldwide enterprise. And they want to be able to import medical marijuana under license. Why our people can't grow it under license? Why don't take them people out of jail who you have jail for growing marijuana now, license them, put them on state land and grow medical marijuana for use here and to export? Why don't do that? Why don't do that, Terence D'Alsing? But you all are making fools of people. I'm not going to lose my temper tonight. I'm not going to raise my voice. I want Trinidad and Tobago to make a decision. When people tell me, boy, Philip, they're going to like you, they're going to love you, they're going to bring cake and wine for you, and wine to drink. And when they go in the voting booth, Indian will vote UNC and black people will vote PNM. Listen. If that is what Trinidadians choose, I and everybody else who put in all their time would be able to say, you know what? We tried. We tried. We can't do everything. If you still going to go and support wrongdoing at election time, take what you get. Take what you get. That's the truth. Somebody sent me a message today about being stuck in the airport since 4 o'clock yesterday. Long weekend. First long weekend in history. We've never run the air bridge before. This is the first time. We don't know what we're doing. But we're doing it long time. Shock doctrine. Make sure it bad. Make sure it bad. So when the white knight ride in, how much? 100 billion? Well, do it now if it could solve. Shock doctrine. Shock doctrine is what Rohan Sinanan, you could Google it. It's what Rohan Sinanan did on the port. He fired the Galatia, he made a mess, caused a confusion. The copy and paste media inside of there talking a set of nonsense. The people, oh God, the truckers on strike. You can't get baby milk in Tobago. Shock. Shock. Tobago going to sink. We gain some boats. I don't care how much. Bring it. This whole PNM play. Shock doctrine. Divide and rule. Defame and kill. Kill characters. To the people having difficulty with the feed, this is Digicel. And we get in Digicel next week. And we will see. And hundreds of thousands of people who have watched the video and experienced the stream. If there is a difference with Digicel, make your own decision right there and then. Throw flow in the sea. And that's what that'll come down to. So I apologize again for the condition of the feed. We are paying Flow the maximum amount of money for the maximum amount of bandwidth they could give us. If that is this, then you know what to do. The Progressive Empowerment Party has a policy we call undo and redo to fix Trinidad and Tobago. Because you ever notice everything in this country broken and no one is to blame. But for all of these broken things, they magically work for the 1% and all who might be temporarily in their good graces, like corrupt politicians who facilitate their agenda. They get their foreign exchange. They don't have a problem with their foreign exchange. They get their matters heard swiftly in the courts if they have a matter. They don't get prosecuted for their crimes. The police come when they call. For the rest of us, nothing works. And we paying the bills. How that making sense? To fix Trinidad and Tobago, all the people of Trinidad and Tobago have to want it. First of all, this is not about racist tribal politics. This is not about who pick rice with you and who plant rice with you and who cut cane with you. This is not about who ancestor vomit on who ancestor in the Atlantic Passage, the Middle Passage. This is not about who labor next to who wearing chains under massa whip. All of that is bullshit. All of that have nothing to do with the fact that today in Trinidad and Tobago, despite them spending $60 billion this year, $60 billion last year, $60 billion the year before, that Trinidad is not working. You are spending more money per capita per person in Trinidad and Tobago on our budget than the United States of America does. And they have a space program and the biggest army in the world. Our money is being stolen by a power structure, a bandit clan, people whose entire life purpose is to steal. And you know who I was really be upset about? I was be upset about the people who want to, not the sycophants. I mean, I understand the education failure. I get that. I try every night at 8 o'clock to give you information. I go after and I read. A couple people join the conversation and it's just attack. You know what? You're in the minority. And I don't want my team to attack you back. I want to ask the usual suspects in our threads, if they come on the feed to attack, ignore them completely, because after we will pass through and delete all the attacks. So do not let the conversation in the thread be affected by them. If you ignore trolls, trolls can't troll. So ignore them completely. Have nothing to say. Do identify them. Don't point them out. There are people in the thread whose job it is to private message me. And if I have the ability and the time, I'll discreetly block them. Last night somebody came on the thread and was talking about only Indian people, no black people, very black people. By the time he got blocked, I don't know if he thought that this whole thing disappeared. Let's not fight them and play their games. Let's not play their games. I like watching the team deal with people and say, you know what? We disagree with what you're saying, but we like your spirit. They have room for you in the PEP. I love seeing that. When you can't fight a man, imagine how that feels. To fix this country, we have to undo the entire court system, all of it. We have to undo it. We have to rebuild one that works. We need a legislative team to go through all of Trinidad's laws and repeal the ones that have no value and redo the laws that are badly written to make them sensible and bring them into the 21st century. You see, when you look at the countries that work, they're not working because of terror. They're working because of systems. When you live in Sweden and Holland and Finland, you're paying 55 and 60% tax. The rest of the money is yours. The rest of the money is yours. You're paying 55 and 60% tax. But you're getting world-class healthcare. The people in Trinidad and Tobago who pay in tax, pay in health surcharge, and still go in Sinclair Medical Center in West Shore. This morning, my sister's father-in-law had a massive heart attack this morning. And they were able to rush him to West Shore. And he has insurance, because that bill is going to be big. But they rushed him to West Shore, and he had surgery within minutes of getting to West Shore. Surgery. There were doctors, plural, with the families, everybody there, explaining the whole procedure while it going on. They had doctors after, held court in the room and explained and answered questions. And it was because they had insurance and the family could have gone to West Shore. He's resting tonight. He's resting while he survived the operation. Massive heart attack. And the family, you can imagine that family if they were standing up in the general hospital with security guards saying, you can't lie in there, no, you can't lie in there. Go from there. It's not 14 or all, you can't be in the room, only 3. The rest have to wait outside. your family come out of surgery, if you're lucky to get surgery, if God smile on you and you get surgery, and you don't find out that they're gone in there for surgery, that wheel them back out because they have rats in the operating theater or pigeons shitting on you while they're opening you up. I mean, this is Trinidad and Tobago. We're spending $6.25 billion in healthcare this year for that. And you come back out, and when they come back out, no room for them. They have no room yet. You have to wait here. So you have to stand up and fan your loved one. You have to stand up there and fan and protect them. And then you finally get to the hospital, and the sheet nest, the mattress stink, and they have no sheets. And there are 12 other people in the ward, and the screen to separate them bus. $6.25 billion we're spending this year on that insanity. We need to undo it. We need to undo every agreement that exists. We need to repeal the Regional Health Authority Act and squash that. We need to build 41 independent hospitals, mini hospitals, one in each constituency, overseen by a supervisor of health. Some of those hospitals in communities and constituencies that have far-flung communities may have to put satellite offices, satellite healthcare centers, smaller healthcare centers with dedicated ambulances, so that you get snake bite, and if you're in Blanchishes and you get snake bite or scorpion sting, they have remedies there for that, because they're expecting that because you're in the bush, and they apply the remedy, and they throw you in the ambulance, they bring you to the main health center, and if they could deal with you there, they deal with you there. If you need to go further, they have a dedicated ambulance, and that taking you to Port of Spain, General, or Mount Hope or San Fernando. And because these 41 health centers exist, that they function in 24/7, that people don't have to go there for every bus tour and bus head, those hospitals could be redone, properly functional. I see today shock and awe worked for whoever is getting the $1.3 million contract to provide a switch for Mount Hope. It's a $1.3 million switch. You're buying a $1.3 million switch that TNTech should have put in for free, because I am sure TNTech is getting millions of dollars from Mount Hope. I'm sure. I'm absolutely certain. But you need a satellite health center on the North Coast, because we've not yet learned that in the rainy season, the hills up there slip and slide. It's always a new experience for us. It's always a surprise. What? A landslide? What do we do? Well, if you had a sensible government ever, there would be a depot somewhere on the North Coast with a backhoe or two and people employed in the community on a salary. Stay home, you have a beeper, you have a cell phone. The land slip, you getting a call, you're getting paid. The time you go to work, you're getting work duty. You're getting a retainer just to have that cell phone and that beeper. And when the land slip, you getting call, jump in that backhoe and find yourself there and clear it up one time. 2 truck, 2 backhoe. Your job is to just make sure they maintain and they're on standby. Because the North Coast Road slips and slides when rain falls. This is not news to anybody. It's not news to anybody. This is simple maths. But we've just spent $1.3 million for a switch, because current was allowed to go in Mount Hope for days. And the media shares it, and we share it on social media with outrage. That's the shock. This can't be. Fix this. 1.3 million, no problem. Shock doctrine rewards the bandits. You get the contract for $1.3 million. That's what the media cover. It's given to JKZ Enterprises. JKZ Enterprises is the white knight that riding to the rescue. And it's only $1.3 million. But when they get there, what they're giving you for $1.3 million is an A12. But an A12 can't work, or it can't fit. We need a Z14. And a Z14 is $108 million. Sorry about that. Or we had to rewire the whole hospital. But we don't tell them that all they get the contract. So shock doctrine. Half in this man account. Here. But half here, I will deal with we people. That's how Trinidad is run. We have to undo and redo. When we fire Terence D'Alce, he must want to go home and pack and leave Trinidad. We must fire him with venom and spite. Not because he's... for nothing other than the fact that he is willing to run steward, to sit and carry on, and let this be how healthcare is run for tens of thousands of our people, knowing that if it is not done properly, people will die. And if you could be so clueless or heartless that people dying in the hospital don't keep you awake at night, you see, that's why I don't want the job. I remember when Patrick Mervyn Augustus Manning said to the nation, when I'm done as a prime minister, I want to be a pastor and share the word of God. And I'm thinking, you nasty, nasty man. You have the power of the prime minister's office. There are homeless people in this country rotting to death in the rain. There was a gentleman outside the Port of Spain General Hospital. I used to go and feed that man. I couldn't smell him. I couldn't watch him. It used to upset me. Half of him was rotten. Outside the hospital in a bus shelter. Wrapping bandage and it weeping and it's seeping. And nobody care. Nobody in this country. It's nobody's job. No one is to blame. Fire truck, whatever you do to yourself that have you rotten, rot away. We cannot, in good conscience, continue this. You cannot beat the PNM for this and think Fuad Khan and Camelot any different. They're not. They're not different at all. Not anything about them. I don't think this country, and I mean Eric Williams was a broad-based thief, you know. I mean, Eric Williams should be in the Guinness Book of World Records for what was done under his stewardship of this country. He should be, there should be a memorial to him. Eric Williams and the 40 Thieves. Our partner, and he sit down and he tell me, he said, Philip, you know what used to go on under the Ministry of Health under Camelot, you know? I don't know. I know people were paid to make it so that you didn't know. I know that. But you can't beat the PNM and think Camelot, who did nothing but give a contract to a big company to come to Trinidad. I want you all to understand this. They have architectural firms in the world, contracting companies in the world, that right now, tonight, if you want to get a snow cone factory, they have a blueprint for a snow cone factory. You could buy it tonight. If you want them to build it, you could negotiate with them one time. You want a cycling track, you want a pool, you want a Cuba hospital, you want a children's hospital, you want a cricket stadium, anything you want. It doesn't require Napa. Napa Drawings was about 40 years old. Napa Sapper Tapper, that's just St. Nicholas Tower in town. There are about 5 of them I see all over the world. You could buy drawings. You could buy plans for anything. So when you're ready to move public funds, you need big public projects. And what you need is to sell the idea to the public that this will make your life better. This Napa will make black people prouder. And we will call the auditorium the Lord Kitchener Auditorium because you all deserve better. To this day, nobody has benefited from Napa other than crooked politicians and their friends in the bandit clan. Not one person. Sapper and Tapper, worse. Not one person could say, I personally benefited. Napa had to shut down completely quietly, secretly, because they built Napa with faulty Chinese steel and asbestos in the ceiling. Nowhere else in the world using asbestos. So Lincoln Douglas, shut it down. You give yourself a round of applause. They spent the next couple $100 million and they brought it back open. A building that was not even 5 years old. And it had to be shut down completely for them to lend Kurt Allen the yard. And I know they only lend Kurt Allen that yard to have his Calypso show to distract from the fact that Napa was broken. That we spent $625 million for a fraudulent project. The steel that built Napa is not going to last 10 years. It's like the steel that built Taruba Stadium. 5 different engineers from across the globe have said that stadium is not safe. The steel is not safe. It is not safe. You are putting people's lives at risk. We need to undo and redo how contracts are given in this country. When we finish with the board of supervisors that run the 41 autonomous constituencies, no longer will central government be able to make decisions. If Port of Spain want an Napa, budget time, they have to come to the government hat in hand and said, we are the headquarters of carnival in the country, and it is a shame, because I'm telling you, the Pan fraternity should be lobbying for a Pan amphitheater somewhere that Pan could be having shows 12 months out of the year if we wanted Pan. But that shouldn't cost $400 million. It shouldn't cost $600 million. It shouldn't be like Taruba that you give somebody the contract, cabinet approve it for $93 million. Cost overruns galloped in 4 years to take it to $800 million. That's like you go KFC to buy a chicken and chips. And they tell you, we will give you a chicken and chips for $20. And when you get it and you start to eat, they come back and tell you, we're sorry, but you're owing us $2,000 for that box of chicken and chips. That's what they do us. That's what they do us with Taruba. Halfway up, twisted in the breeze, is either we stop here or we overrun the cost. Napa, twisted in the breeze. Stop here, overrun. Scarborough Hospital was $136 million, finished at $800 million. Napa was $121 million, finished at $627 million. Hyatt cost us $700,000 per room. We will never, ever recoup any of those investments. Never. Ever. That money in the wind. Your children's future, the Trinidad that you see in Qatar, in Abu Dhabi, in Dubai, the Trinidad that you see on Manhattan Island, in Toronto, the Trinidad that this country should be, that Guyana is probably going to be, that Trinidad is in the wind, is in bandit pockets, who are posing for you and sitting in the front of the church, giving money in the collection plate, driving out their spaceship-looking Mercedes-Benzes, their children going to the best schools in the world, driving the most expensive cars on the avenue, all on stolen money. This is a nation where crime pays. But, there is a chance. There is a chance, because the Progressive Empowerment Party tells you, we don't want nothing to do with the UNC. People ask me, well boy, if you reach right up in front of the election and it look like the PNM go win and we want the PNM out, you go join with the UNC. No sir. Red crapo, yellow crapo, same bandit. Join with the PNM to keep the UNC out. No sir. Not at all. We want nothing to do with them. Hey boy, so-and-so say she want to join the party. No problem. Join the party. They have no position for so-and-so. They have no position for so-and-so. It's not that we be in bad mind. It's that the people of Trinidad and Tobago needs to trust. Because when we go into government, the bandit clan, the 1%, those who have been sucking this nation dry, they're not going to accept that we've shut down the drug trade through Trinidad. They're not going to accept that we've cancelled all their laundering, money laundering contracts. They're not going to accept that the gravy train from the special purpose companies is over. They're not going to accept that they're not getting billions of dollars in road paving contracts anymore. So all of these people who have been benefiting from the lax, loose, and corrupt administration of the country's economy, they're going to mount a response. Trust that they are going to get their Rogers to strike. And I tell them, brother, tell us where you're striking. We will bring the juice, the mobby, the rock cake. You'll get doubles if you want. All you walk. If your flag get wet, I'll bring a new flag. You just keep marching, but you march wrong and wrong. Abdullah, I know you're resting up, You're resting up. PNM in power, they're not marching for you. But if somebody else come into power, Abdullah, I promise you, I will send a stand-in. If you're tired march, you could sit down, he will march for you. You'll be the first marcher that have a marcher stand-in for you. Or you could march till your foot wear down, not taking you on. Because not one of you care about this country. And we see you coming from a mile away. And Trinidad and Tobago have to know that these people are going to mount massive attacks against this country. What happened in 1990 was the bandit clan refusing to accept that Trinidad was no longer the PNM zone. I say that. Nobody's told us anything else. Let them march. 1.3 million people own this country. Don't block the gate. Because we will send the army to move you. You could march. But don't hold the nation's gasoline or its water for ransom, because that will elicit a response that you do not want. It will be swift, it will be certain, and it will be sure. You can march. March. Call CNN to come and cover your march. We're not going to be bullshitted like how, you see what the bandit class did. Now, Chavez and Maduro is two jackass, and I get that. But a lot of what that went on in Venezuela, thinking people know, the rest of you may not be aware, that the banks and the chambers of commerce in Venezuela destroyed Venezuela's economy to make a point. And the people have been used as pawns. The Progressive Empowerment Party, our first job is to protect and serve the people. That's our first job. And we will be continuously conscious of that responsibility. So no, don't tell me about who will bring hitters from Mexico. We will respond with hitters of our own. Plain talk, bad manners. Don't warn me about that. They don't have more bad mind than me. Don't warn me about that. We will protect this nation. We will protect its democracy. We will protect its offices of state. We will protect the people. So if you want to negotiate, but I tell you, if you're in the drug trade and Progressive Empowerment Party comes to office, pack up. Pack up. If you're a corrupt part of the bandit clan, pack up. Lock down everything. Pack up. We will give you an amnesty. Those who have stolen money from the treasury, we'll give you an amnesty. I'm telling you. Because I will hire the best lawyers and the best forensic accountants and tell them, this person is rumored to have stolen $1.8 billion. Go and bring it back, 50% is yours. I don't care if we have to lose half. Bring it back and the lawyers and the accountants can keep the other half. Not making joke. We're not doing all of this to play terror games. Not. But come back to fixing Camelot. We need to undo and redo what passes for justice in this country. We need to undo and redo what passes for law enforcement. We need to go back to the Constitution and reinvent the offices of state to make sure that it is functional and it delivers. We need to make sure that there is a person in this country responsible for public office holders, theft, oversight. The Integrity Commission needs to be given steroids. It needs to be given teeth. The Integrity Commission shouldn't be sitting down with their hands in the lap waiting for the DPP to go and arrest the people who have questions to answer. The Integrity Commission is supposed to be able to bring them before the court. It's like the Police Complaints Authority is supposed to be able to arrest police who they know are guilty of crimes and bring them before the court. We have a country where the systems have been set up to fail purposely. I sat down in a public office and I'm talking to a secretary. She say, the man in charge, he on vacation till September. I said, so the whole office shut down? She said, well, he tell them he was going and he asked for a replacement, but nobody didn't take him on. So he gone. And everybody else coming to work. But they can't do nothing. Because the man to sign the documents, he not there till September. Fire truck all of you who need anything from that office. And I asked her, I said, is this fair? She said, Mr. Alexander, you don't know me, but I am one of your strongest supporters and I cannot wait for you to come to office and abolish all of this. Abolish it. The Tobago House of Assembly needs to be wiped from the memories of the people of Tobago. Tobago needs to be given the representation it deserves. Tobago has never been treated with respect in its history. All that is done in Tobago through the THA is the people are bribed for votes directly. 75% of the population paid a salary through the THA. The THA gets its money from central government. So central government's job is to bribe the voters in Tobago for 2 seats. Madness. And the Progressive Empowerment Party's policy is simple where Tobago is concerned. Come in as a full member of the country or go. Run a referendum. You all want independence? I will stitch a flag for you. And that is not bad mind, but all of the nonsense that's been distracting the people and allowing these roving bandits to take advantage of this country, all of that had to come to a swift and certain end. We have 5 years. I come in to do like Camelot, and 4 days out of the week you're home. We come in to work. We're working now. We have an advisory council now. Working now, 3 years before election, preparing for office. How to create the advisory councils, how to repeal the local government authority, how to repeal the regional health authority, how to repeal the Tobago House of Assembly, how to repeal them all, how to undo and redo the police service, how to undo and redo the courts, cold case, current case courts, right now, how to undo and redo the prison system, to move it from to hold and punish to really live up to its mandate to hold and treat. That's what the prison service is supposed to do, hold and treat. They're supposed to come out of prison better than they went in. No, it's not Hilton, but they don't have to be the 5th circle of hell. Come on. Whoever taught you all that, mess with your mind. Mess with your mind. We'd have to punish the crap out of everybody to make a point. Traffic. We have traffic in this country. You think I am the only person who knows the traffic needs to be solved at Colville Street? All of Port of Spain traffic right now starts and ends at Colville Street. Jack Warner, love him, hate him, Louis Leasing worked together and put a plan in place that made all of the traffic in Port of Spain go away. So they say, well, some people can't get taxi. So we couldn't solve that. We had to undo the whole thing. We couldn't solve the people who couldn't get taxi. We couldn't fix that. All of a sudden, there was no traffic morning and evening to get to Port of Spain. All of a sudden. All of a sudden. This is a country where Doma recommended to the mayor, and the mayor agreed, turn off the traffic lights. Let chaos reign at the intersections, because that's better than order. None of the traffic lights in town work. And if you understood why there is traffic in Port of Spain, and if they talk to Dr. Ray Furlong, because he will tell you to solve traffic here, do this, to solve traffic here, do that. You see, we don't have national traffic. The national traffic we have is 250,000 people trying to come into Port of Spain every morning to work and go home every evening. That needs to fix. All the government offices need to be decentralized out of Port of Spain. But if you think that that is new, I read that in a newspaper, 1974. 1974, Patrick Manning spent billions of your children's dollars building nonsense in Port of Spain, knowing that all of it needed to be built in the center of the island. But if they want to build a racket rail, they need you to stew in traffic every day till they tell you, spend the 15 billion and you will never see traffic again. Oh God, do it! Do it! We want it. Shock doctrine. That's how this country is run. Spoil it. Cause stress for the people. Because in the public service, they use shock doctrine to their advantage too. If you make passports difficult to get, people will be willing to pay a bribe. If you make licensing your car difficult, people will be willing to pay a bribe. If you make it difficult for people to get a driver's permit, people will be willing to pay a bribe. All of the offices of state that run dysfunctionally are set up to encourage you to pay a bribe. We need to undo and fix that. Undo and redo. Imagine going to the court with a ticket and an ATM. You put in your bank card and you pay it. You get the next thing, you staple it to, go your way. Licensing office, you line up, they check your car, you go inside, ATM, slide your card, automatic teller machine. Pay $200 and bring the check back to me. No line. No line. Watson Duke want to march because we firing 2 cashiers. March, Watson. March. Don't stop marching. Police, leave him alone. Leave him alone. All the people who don't want to work 6 weeks past, you abandon your job, we get new people. No problem. Trinidadians have to be willing to take some bitter medicine to get past this, to undo and redo. And we have to be willing to say, you know what? We can't work today because the taxi drivers on strike. No problem, we will stay home. But I's a nurse and this one is a food cook. So the same taxi drivers don't end up in the hospital, don't come looking for food. Because all of we is one people and we've been made asses of for the past 55 years. And we have to decide. When your union call you out, if a government come to power that says to you, I don't care where you work, even if you're a minimum wage earner, I will make sure that you can own a home. There is nothing your union leader have to say to you now that could be of any value. When you elect a party to power and they tell you that they're coming to make sure that no matter who you are, you will get the best of medical care if you or your loved one fall sick, tell your union leader, miss me with your bullshit, brother. And if you elect a party to government that makes sure that your children get proper world-class education, that opens up doors and the world to them, tell your union leader, listen, I quit your union, remove my name from your list. Because you were supposed to get me proper education for my children, proper health care, home ownership, and a cost of living that I could afford. And you didn't. All I see you get was a fancy car for yourself. And you don't work. I doing all the work. Your job is to make noise. And that ain't working for me no more. And I talking to Trinidadians plain. We have to undo and redo. And we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have to be willing to stand up for our country. Because it's either we do that, or you continue to look and see where you can get a visa to. So you go and you hide for 5 years, you bribe a man and he help you out, you get a fake green card or whatever. You could do that, or you could fix your country. Fix your country, make it work. It's not a difficult thing to fix. We need to remove the mocking pretenders and the bandit clans who have made this country how it is. We need to do that. We need to do it. Because we either fix Trinidad and Tobago or leave. These people do not care what happens to you, your loved ones, your children, your parents. They don't care. They don't care. These people cannot be compassionate. Their shock doctrine requires them to not be. So that the elderly who cannot afford to live on the fixed income, you can imagine being a homeowner on a pension, getting $3,000 a month, barely covering your medicine. Any of you who have elderly parents or grandparents know that 60% of their money goes to medicine. And you're barely covering that and put some food in the house. And this troll, this gargoyle called Imbert, running you down for a property tax that you will never be able to pay. Never. You can imagine what it must feel like, the fear. I'm speaking to people, 3 different people now who tell me they have matters before the court that run in years, that they get anxiety waiting to go to court. Nobody like going to court. Abuse of a system that failing and nobody answering to the people. Nobody saying this is not good enough. That a court case should not drag on. A basic summary offense shouldn't take more than a year. You have people dragging on for years. What is that? And there's nobody to turn to. We have to undo and redo that. You have to. Olive. Don't grow old hair. Don't make children hair. Don't try to bury a navel string hair if you're not helping. I spoke to a lawyer today. Somebody recommended to me to speak to a lawyer. And she said, because we build in the legislative council. And she said, oh, no, I'm not political at all. I'm not into politics. And I almost answered her to say, babe, but politics into you. The value of the money in your pocket is politics. But you know what? Somebody left one of the groups, so she told me, I say you change the group from Stand Up TNT to Progressive Empowerment Party. I said, yeah, Stand Up TNT was the transition name when we didn't have a party. Now we're a party. We're Progressive Empowerment Party. So the group should change its name. She said, well, I thought it was just an activist group and I have to leave now and stand firm with my principles. I said, love, I hope your principles could float. If the ship of state runs aground, if it starts to sink, I hope your principles could float. Because that's not principles. That is laziness. To be neutral in the times of moral crisis is to side with the oppressor. You are siding with the oppressor. If you are not willing to stand up for your part, for your country, for your family, for your loved ones, for yourself, you're siding with the oppressor. You are siding with the people who are doing you wrong. And we have to start to educate each other that this is not about Philip Alexander or the color orange or the PEP. But you must admit that since they've started, the national conversation has changed. The letters to the editor, go read them. I read them every day. That gives me a snapshot. And I know those jackasses in that media don't want to run half them letters, but it's that or nothing. It's that or nothing. And the Guardian do that a couple times, run no letters rather than risk having to show that they're wrong. Because people writing to tell you your policies and what you support is wrong. And the people are speaking out. Christ said that, If I stay quiet, the stones would speak out. It is time now. It is time now to expose the bullshit of the tribal racist divide. It is time to squash that, undo that. It is time to, I want to say Douglarize the nation, but it's time for people. When you work with people, you know that your co-workers, their race don't matter. If you're in the hospital and you need a kidney, the man race or the woman race don't matter. You need blood. You're asking them, hey, you sure that I come from Indian? You sure that it's not African blood you're giving me? Thank you for the blood, friend. Thank you for the blood. Save my life. You're starving and you're hungry. You're going to dead. The person that stopped at looking to feed you is not of your race. Will you say, no, thank you, I'll die? No. Stop it now. Stop it now. Here, every creed and race find an equal place. Tonight it is a lie. Tomorrow, let's make it true. From tomorrow, let's make it true. Because the moment you decide to say, you know what, my race does not determine my politics. When David Rudder said, how we vote is not how we party, I'll make that a lie. I'll make that a lie. So my race will no longer determine my politics. The PNM and the UNC will begin to collapse on themselves in a heap. Because they have no ideology. They have no philosophy. They have no policy. They're not coming to you to tell you that our policy is based on X. Our policy, the Progressive Empowerment Party, our policy is based on the people. We want to come back to the people and give you the power of cabinet. We want to give you the power of government. We want to make sure recall, referendum, campaign finance, and proper procurement legislation exists, not talk. I see people who talk for 5, 10, 15 years. We tell you we go into office day one. Day one. If we don't do it, fire us. Recall legislation. The first thing you get in. We write in the law. We will publish it for you at election time. This is the law we're going to publish. Recall how to fire public office holders who do not do what they were hired to do, who do not do what they promised to do, or who are running afoul of their responsibility. Our policies are the people. Home ownership, education, healthcare, food, quality food, prices that you could afford, security. That's it. We want again. No more crime, no more violence. You could afford to live, you could buy a house, you could get a job, your children getting proper education, and the healthcare treating you with respect. What else you want? What else you want? We tell you the public funds cannot be divested without proper, transparent procurement. That means for you to get a contract, besides the fact that we're decentralizing the country to the 41 constituencies. So if you want to get a road paving contract, you have to go in a constituency and get it there. You can't get a national contract again. You can't have no more government coming to power and you have a one back home man that by the time they come out of power, he's a billionaire. It's not done. And you, all of you watching, have the power. And you have the power to tell your 20 friends. Every one of us interacts with 20 people a day. Tell all of them. We either get busy fixing this country or get busy getting out. Make no mistake. None whatsoever. Yeah? It is time. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, took responsibility for our democracy. It is time we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, put race and tribalism aside and took responsibility for our country. It is time we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, stood up to who passing themselves off as politicians and asked them, what are your policies? What are your plans? If you had asked Keith Rowley what was his policies and his plans, you'd have never voted for him because he had none. And you see it now. He had none. None. Yeah? True talk. True talk. We have one thing to do. Join.
Your vote will decide our destiny. Your vote will decide what you want to be. Your vote can foretell our country's fate. One use it well before it's too late. If it is that who you're voting, fail beyond a doubt. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is they prove it to be only full amount. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the time is now that change should come about, just as how you vote them in, vote them out.
This is what we get in with this show. Good night, Philip. I have some questions. As a concerned citizen, seeing that transport and logistics have greatly impacted our country's commerce trade, can you please explain your plan to compete with the rest of the world, getting the best for our country when it comes to strategizing which countries can be great allies to trade with to expand our Trinidad and Tobago brand? All 184. All of our ambassadors, all of our high commissioners will be put on notice. Your job is to sell brand Trinidad and Tobago and to bring joint ventures, foreign direct investment to our country. If you can't do either, pack. 2, can you also show some plans to improve and expand the production and manufacturing sectors, excluding energy sectors? Foreign direct investment. It is linked to what we said in 1. We are going, our Ministry of Foreign Affairs will be replaced by a Foreign Affairs Committee operated out of the Prime Minister's office, and their job will be to sell brand Trinidad and Tobago and to bring foreign direct investment. We plan to remove the Labas from where it is, create a massive commercial zone, and invite businesses, manufacturers who have labor-intensive businesses. We will give you rent-free, gas-free, electricity free. Come and hire, train, and pay our people. 3, how do you plan to enhance the young entrepreneurs of Trinidad and Tobago as they compete with the rest of the entrepreneurs around the world? I have said this before too many times, and some of these knuckle-dragging economists have argued with me, but we have a responsibility to protect our people. They are coming here trading on economies of scale. We must make sure that our people could stand up and survive. If it costing you $5 to manufacture something that somebody else is costing them $1, we have a responsibility to say, if you are helping, we will help you. We will work with our entrepreneurs. Our goal is to make many of our people, we need to move them from net employees to net employers. 4, do you think it is possible to utilize our shipping port to negotiate better trading agreements with countries that can in turn be customers for our products? Absolutely. The commercial zone that we want to build across from Beaton, we want that to be a duty-free zone. Plus, we are moving the port of Port of Spain from Port of Spain and putting it in Point Lisas 5 times the size to take advantage of the strategic location we have between North and South America. I know that you're busy, but these are some of the concerns that I have seen that are exploited by corporate persons. Thank you for your time. Yeah? I want those kind of messages. Send me that. Message me that. Test us. We want to answer those questions.
Put them up with total skull and utter display. Let's put our country together again. Put them out of power
till we make them rain.
Let's put our country together again.
Somebody now messaged me to say, heard today that there are no passports available for citizens of TNT in immigration. That is ridiculous. That's not ridiculous. If that is a fact, that is shock doctrine. And somebody's going to get a contract. Well, passports used to cost $12 to make, but because we ran out and we need it urgently, we're going to have to spend $77 for one. You want it, or you want to wait 9 months? No, we will take it, spend the $77. Shock doctrine. Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. You go let all listen. We will expose them at every turn. You cannot say you do not know. You will no longer be able to say you do not know. You know.
If for 30 years you voting them in, and there's only tears as soon as they win, they give you big words
and enslave your soul, promising you roads and giving potholes.
If they are the reason why the economy goes sprout,
when you're voting,
if it is the passing laws that them alone can flout, when you're voting, if it is the building eyesores, east, west, north and south, they say where you vote them in, register and totally stick your finger and rescue the country. Put them up with tempo, they happy in faith. Let's put our country together again. Put them out with calypso and joyous refrain. Let's put our country together.
Carla Jean, Misty Autumn Day, the team, the foreign PEP chapters are going to start working to find out why our foreign-based Chinese cannot vote in our elections the same way foreign-based Venezuelans and Americans based here get to vote in their elections. We need to know why, because that should be law. And they're working to provide those things. But right now, if passports run out, the chief immigration officer should be fired. Whoever is responsible should be fired. This kind of nonsense cannot continue. Because if you start firing public office holders, all of it will stop.
Is a policy, bureaucracy, a catastrophe. If they cannot vote, and you see it so, then your only hope
All bandit
is for them to vote. If it is fabrication, these statements that they spout, when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. If it is that frustration, that's make you want to shout, when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. Before they misuse out, cheap out, sell out and mix out. If it you vote them in, vote them out. Register and vote them out. All of them, vote them out. Stick your finger and vote them out.
Rescue the country.
Put them out in Scarborough and import a spend. Let's put our country together again. Put them out in Camelot and in Larobet. Let's put our country together again.
People telling me that plenty people can't watch the whole show. It is an hour long and they're using up their data. You know what? They have plenty places, Rituals, Starbucks, Mario's. Go in a place, buy a cup of coffee, use their Wi-Fi, watch the show. Malls, movie town. Go in a place that have free Wi-Fi. Come on, man. Don't be lazy. If you can't afford the data plan, go where they have free Wi-Fi.
You must come first.
Let's do this.
By right. None of you are worse. Yellow, black or white. Food, shelter and clothes. Free movement and speech. A garden that grows. And one love for each. If it is that injustice is what they always show. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is that avarice is all they seem to know. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is their politics, it's just a puppy show. When elections day come,
All bandits must go.
register and vote them out. If they don't see, stain your finger and
You must know this song by heart
proceed. Vote them out with total scorn
and utter disdain. Let's put our country together again. This is your anthem. You gotta know it by heart. You gotta learn this song by heart. peptrenbago@gmail.com. If you haven't joined us yet, join now. This Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue. We're there. Come out in your numbers. Next week, Saturday, we're in Tunapuna, Ozenville Park, on the corner of Ozenville Road and Sapodilla Street at 6 p.m. Come out in your numbers. Book the babysitter, organize the Uber, whoever is your transport, tell your friends and family, we're doing this. It cannot be enough for you to sit down every night and watch my pretty face. You have to come out, you have to join, you have to volunteer, you have to help. All this fear of victimization, you have to understand how a critical mass works. When it is 1.3 million of us in orange, that's a revolution. They have no choice but to respect the will of the people. It's yours. Everything about this country belongs to you. It's yours. The only thing that's waiting right now is you. The only thing that's keeping it back right now is you. You've not claimed it. You've not stepped into your birthright. This is yours. This is your inheritance. What you leave for your children is this. Let's leave something functional. Yes, thank all of you who are with us tonight. We ran a little over, but say what? We have no sponsors to worry about. Speaking of which, anybody who would like to assist this show and what we do, we really would like to have your assistance, financial assistance. It costs money and there are things that we pay for ourselves right now. But if you could assist also, we have a large audience, and if you want to advertise, once your product good, I'll give you the blind. So yeah, jump on board. And I think that's about it. I'm getting a message here from, yeah. Cool? pptrinbago@gmail.com. If you're not yet a member of this party, ask yourself why. Fix that. Saturday at noon. And when you come in, don't walk like a boxer with your 2 hands swinging. Bring something to share. Chicken puffs, donuts, starch mango, Julie mango. That's the real thing. But if you bring Julie mango, don't let nobody else know. Tell me alone. Right? Yeah? See all of you all tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.